really she has come from a very tough council state background, and she fought extreme poverty. She fought the society to be where she is at the moment. Whatever she has achieved, she gives a big credit to her sport, roller derby, because it has given her a lot of confidence, to achieve whatever she has achieved in her life. So we got a great story, and I think she is absolutely inspirational. So I am going to play that video for all of you, and then do give us, share the feedback. I would love to hear from you on Helen Horkan. Helen Horkan, all for you.
My name's Helen. I'd like to apologise for not being able to speak live today. And also thanks to Baz for inviting me to speak. Events like this are really important to me, and I think when you hear a bit of my story, you're going to know why. I'm sorry, but it's going to be a bit of a condensed version of the talk I planned to give, but you can feel free to contact me by email, which you can get from the event information, and ask me any follow-up questions that you like. So I'll give you my formal introduction. My name is Helen Horkan. I'm a second year PhD researcher at the National University of Ireland, Galway, and I do research into the DNA damage response of the immortal cnidarian hydractinia. I'm also a roller derby referee and an avid climber. Now, when I give that introduction, it sounds completely alien to me. When I picture myself, the picture in your head that you get of yourself when you think of yourself, I don't imagine myself walking down hallowed halls of universities and conversing with the elite. I imagine myself as the South Manchester council estate girl that I am. So I grew up in a single parent family after my mum fled my alcoholic and abusive dad. I grew up going to a primary school where the best that they could hope for us would be that we'd finish secondary school and get an English and Maths GCSE, which you can't blame them for. Like, my mum finished school at 14. She had to leave because she was expected to stay at home and take care of her younger brothers and sisters while her parents went to work. I was a complete product of my environment. I grew up with the biggest aspiration being just to get a job, any job, because that was the environment we were surrounded by. But when I was about 14, I decided that I'd really like to be a scientist. I'd always been an inquisitive kid, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a scientist. So I decided to work really hard towards my GCSEs. And I left school and got pretty decent GCSEs, if I do say so myself. And then I started doing biology, chemistry and maths for my A-levels. And then reality really hit me. I realised that if I was going to go to uni, I really needed to get a job. I had to save up money because nobody was going to hand it to me. So I got a job at McDonald's, which I remember in school they always said, if you don't cop on, you're going to end up working at Mackey's. But actually McDonald's was the making of me. And it was the first time that I realised that I could make my own support network. So at McDonald's, I was surrounded by loads of people from all different walks of life that were going to be CEOs of businesses and people that had retired and they had loads of work experience and they just wanted to do something to keep them occupied, people going to uni, people going to college. And I realised that these people believed in me, so I should believe in myself. So because of that supportive environment and also the need for money, I started to work loads. I was putting in all the shifts that I could. And then my grades started to slip. And then when my grades started to slip, I kind of went a bit off the deep end and just started partying. I was going out from Thursday to Monday, getting absolutely smashed, drinking loads, taking loads of drugs, surrounding myself with all the wrong people. But I hate that narrative. I don't think other people were a bad influence on me. We were all influencing each other, right? If they were a bad influence on me, then surely I was a bad influence on someone else. I mean, I was involved. So yeah, tanked my A-levels, absolutely. Had to restart college, so that was a real wake-up call. When I restarted, I thought I need a better plan. So I decided that I would try to get promoted in work. I realised if I could get promoted to manager at McDonald's, then I could work half the time for the same amount of money. And then at the same time as that, I thought I need an outlet for myself that isn't getting smashed. And then that's when I started playing roller derby, which is a crazy sport. It's basically rugby on roller skates, but without a ball. And you just skate around a track and hit each other. The details of the sport aren't really important, but what's important is that it was a creative outlet for me. It was a way to get out my frustrations. I had people to speak to, And for the first time in my life, I was surrounded by people that were already doing the careers I aspired to. So there was doctors, there was vets, there was nurses, there was, I don't know, PTs, there was just people from all these different careers. And I now had access to information that I never had before. So with the working list, because I finally did get promoted to manager, and the support from people from work and the support from people from roller derby, I managed to get pretty decent A-levels and get into a mediocre university. Now this really upset my mum, because she thought, oh, I've got a girl that finished school and she's got aspirations, so she's going to get into Oxford and Cambridge. Now I didn't, and maybe I could have, but I didn't. So I went to a run-of-the-mill university, the University of Huddersfield, and while I was there, I had this sudden realisation that the finish line was not yet. That to be a scientist, I had to do more than a degree. To be competitive, I had to do a PhD. Now, I would never have imagined myself as being the person to obtain the highest level of academic degree available. Like, coming from a family where nobody had even finished school, how on earth was I going to do that? Like, I didn't even know how to apply for student finance when I started my degree. I didn't know how to apply for uni. I had nobody to guide me. So I got my own mentor. I found a lecturer at the university who was sympathetic and spoke to him, and he helped me immensely. So he gave me all the guidance that I needed. He told me how I could get this extra work experience and all of this stuff, and helped me craft my applications and send them all off to all these different universities. And then reality hit again. I got other lecturers rejecting me, PhD programs rejecting me, and every time I took them back to different lecturers at my university, I got told time and time again the same thing. You need to focus less on your job and more on university. University should be your full-time job. And of course, how could it be? How could I possibly make university my full-time job? Like, didn't they realise that if I didn't go to work, I wouldn't be able to go to university? Didn't they realise that there was mature students and students with children and students with disabilities? Like, did they really think that we could all just turn up and make university our main priority? And that frustrated me, but it drove me on even more, because I thought, one day if I can be a lecturer, I can understand people that don't just get it handed to them. I can help those people like that lecturer helped me to craft applications. And eventually I did it. I carried on working, and despite what they all said, I finally got offered a PhD position. And luckily I was able to accept it, and thank God it was a fully funded position. So it came with all of my expenses paid for my fees, and also quite a good research stipend, which meant that I had a wage and a way to live. And this was amazing, because it meant eventually, when I graduated, I could leave university with a first-class honours degree and sit there in my graduation robes, knowing that I had somewhere to go, that I could go and do this PhD. And it felt so important to me. So now that I'm in work and doing this PhD, I try to spend a lot of my time reaching out to the kind of communities that I came from. For example, people that are currently out of work, or people that are struggling growing up in the same environment I did, and tell them that they can do it too. And also just communicate science with them. Like, when I was in that environment, nobody wasted their time on people like me because they thought, oh, you're stupid, you'll never understand this kind of thing, science is above you. It was an us and them thing. But science is by the people and for the people, and now it's completely changing. There's so many more people like me in science, and hopefully in another 10 or 15 years, the majority of people in science will just be normal people, because at the end of the day, the research that we do is for everyone. It's about everyone and it's for everyone. So I just think it's really important for everybody to be able to do whatever they want to do, and especially if it's an academic career path, that you're not put off by all of the hurdles that they set up for you, because the system is completely set up against you. The system is set up to prefer people that come from a middle class family and just have everything handed to them. But you can do it, and if you're not supported by the people around you, make your own support network. Whether that means going out and playing five-a-side, or pottery, or knitting, or joining a book club on Facebook, or whatever it might be. Create an environment that you want to be there. You know, if you think, oh, I'd be able to do this if I had people around me that believed in me, then put yourself in that environment. Don't wait for it to come to you. Be proactive. And I suppose I would just end my little snippet of a talk by saying, if you have any questions or you'd like to know ways into research or academia, then feel free to reach out to me. And again, I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there today, and thanks for listening to me.
What an incredible journey. So inspirational. She just touched my heart. I think brilliant, brilliant. Helen, we are thinking of you. I hope you are okay. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I think that was absolutely fantastic. You are not here, but I'm still going to share some of the feedback and comments for you. Halima Hassan has said, absolutely resilience. Wow, what a young lady. Thank you, Helen, and stay safe. Joanne has said, never let your past determine your future. What an inspiration. And Fihi has said, Helen's story is so inspiring, so honored to have her supporting us with the event. Absolutely. It was our honor to have all these wonderful people. Helen Horkan, what a great inspiration. And I think young people, if they have watched this, you have taught them how important resilience is. And this is something yesterday, some of our guest speakers, they talk about resilience and how important it is to create that network, supporting networking is crucial as well, because that gives you confidence